YouTube, what it do. You know the motto. If you can, go over there, hit me with a like, which is a thumbs up, and that'll let me know I'm kicking my stuff, homie. This right here, a lot of people commented, and a lot of people hit me through Instagram, and a few of the homeboys in the younger generation asked about the legend Crips, homie. You know what I'm saying? Which is a Crip gang that reside in the city of Inglewood that's surrounded by Bloodz, homie. You know what I'm saying? They surrounded by the Queen Street Bloodz, the neighborhood power rules, the Inglewood families, the uh the 9-4 families, the Crenshaw Mafias, Center Park Bloods. You know, they just in the center of all of us, homie. And a lot of people wanted to know how was they able to sustain, survive, and move throughout the city dominated by Bloods, homie. So I'm here to give my brief analysis and rundown on the legend Crips, homie. So before I really dive into the story, I'm going to throw up a few names of the legend Crips, homie. Some of them was there at the beginning, and some of them came on board forming probably a little just under the beginning, which make them still kind of like right there, homie. So you got a Telly, you got a Marv, which was a lowdown, homie. You had Old Man, Prairie, you had a Ghost Shocker, I think a Glenn, homie. It was a dark skinned kind of chunky fool. I don't know if he was kind of like one of they YGGs or what. I think his name was like a Yogi. You had Ratchet over there, homie. You had a Big Nepo, homie, a Deshay. And some of these dudes had peoples, I believe, that was out the East Coast or function with the neighborhood 60 Crip car, homie. But at the beginning of the legend Crip forming, homie, you know, a lot of these different areas had different names before originally stamped themselves as Crips and Bloods, homie. And the legend Crips was a legend crew, was like a legend hustler. So at the beginning of they forming, you will have some second generation, which is, you know, G's and like OG type homeboys that's B-dogging from Family, Queen Street, Neighborhood Power Rule, Crenshaw Mafia, Center Park Bloods. They knew a couple of these legend dudes. You know what I'm saying? They knew a couple of them legend dudes, homie. And like I said, at the beginning of they forming, some of my homeboys say they played the part of creating a legend crew before them dudes separated themselves and moved further in to the Crip thing, homie. You know what I'm saying? So with them names that I just dropped and ran down, homie, with them dudes having outside, some of them having outside influence, that's what made them develop the cripping, homie. And like I said at the time, like my homeboys was helping with the forming of just the legend crew and the legend hustler. A few of these names that I named, homie, these dudes hung with Bloods at the beginning, homie. Possibly. These dudes ate at, you know, possibly a couple dudes' tables that was Damo affiliated out to Inglewood City. Might have played some football, might have went to school, might have had a cordial, you know what I'm saying, cordial get down with one another, homie. You know what I'm saying? Before the separation of this thing, homie. Because I got a few homeboys that say once these dudes started hanging with other Crips, they swag and dress code had pushed to a different standards, homie. And some of my homeboys, like I said at the beginning of the forming, say them dudes started hanging with different people and started acting different, homie. So that's what started drawing the separation of people going to the gangs and sticking with what they want to stick with, homie. And by the way, the Legend Crips is a Crip gang that reside reside in the city Inglewood. That's right across the street from the SoFi Stadium, homie. You go across the street, you got Osage, you got a few more other little streets, homie. Tamarack, few more streets that was kind of be known to be where legends kind of be at, homie, at them times. So anyway, to push into that, dog, some of them names that I named from legend, some of these dudes, why everybody is starting to find their way to become real tied in, trenched in Inglewood family Bloods, or neighborhood poverty gangster Bloods, or Queen Street Bloods, homie, or so on, or different Bloods inside Inglewood. These second generation type G type dudes is starting to find their way to these hoods. You still got pockets of legend Crips in certain little areas and certain little B-Dog hoods, homie. So them beginning dudes had to go through a lot of scrimmaging and pressure, homie. Because I know we had a few that reside inside the neighborhood power when they started really going heavy with the legend Crip thing. And them dudes used to have it bad, homie. We used to rush them out the hood, you know what I'm saying? Go damn near go to their past, tripping, calling them out, catching them leaving and tripping. So a lot of them beginning legends, homie, really know what it was to kind of solidify themselves at the beginning of they get down, homie. And like I said, okay, so now my homeboy saying this, now the formulation of this is kicking. It wasn't really so intense, homie. You know, I remember, you know, it probably was a few major, you know, a few little incidents, but nothing real heavy that I can recall really at the beginning, homie. You know what I'm saying? But as them dudes start picking up more members and more outside influence, that's probably when the chaos really started, you know what I'm saying, uprising on me. Because like I said, them dudes knew Bloodz, went to school with Bloodz, kind of hung out with Bloodz at the beginning of their get down. So I don't really think they just really all had the attention to hit Inglewood B-Dogs, homie. Even though that's what the thing was all about, if you cripping the blood and it's taking out your enemy. But sometimes when you in a city that all damn near probably was kind of in the same banner and folding up under in a blood city, and dudes know each other, then separate, it ain't gonna be too much heavy artillery popping, kind of like at the beginning, homie. And like I said, to a transition of new members and new altercations come about to intensify this gang shit, homie. So anyway, homie, the homies at the beginning, homie, and I asked a few homies, and dudes will tell you, we never really took the Legend Crips super serious, homie. Even though they branched off and did their own entity and had the 10 Deuce Raymond's Crips that they was aligned with at that time, homie. Dude, we still didn't really take them so heavily serious right there in that area. Because like I said, it was like a no man's land, a Hawthorne inside of a city of Inglewood, that different people, even though they wanted to claim that and claimed that, you still had outside B-Dogs and Inglewood B-Dog that kind of stuck in certain apartments and kind of reside over there, homie. And like I said, they have possibly known this, but like I say, they might have known some of these dudes, homie, throughout the city and out their history, to where they had just had tabs on you and probably wouldn't have just straight out muff you, homie, for the simple fact they knew us. And they knew certain dudes, if they did muff them, it a possibility of be a chain reaction or some drama, because we knew them too. We homies had tabs on them too, homie. So like I said, the homies didn't really take them serious, dog. So I remember times, and you can ask other Inglewood B-Dogs, homie, that we sent them dudes through boot camp because we looked at them kind of like recreation. Motherfuckers would get drunk off night train beers, you know, up under the influence, and go through there and squabble. Cause right at the beginning, kind of like when I started going through there, you know, like 88, 89, 90, it wasn't so much popping. We had cannons, but it be more we jump out and get physical chunking them with them over inside they turfs, homie. You know what I'm saying? You know, it wasn't, you know, like I said, we had pistols. They might have had pistols, but it was more, let's go through there and scrimmage it out and squabble them fools and all that type shit. You know, try to chase them through their turfs and squabble them and catch them. And you know, and like I said, homie, they had to fight for their lives, homie. So you got to kind of, you know, give them a piece of that they did. Some of them had to really fight for their lives inside of a city amongst Bloodz, homie. So like I said, dog, so now to move into that, to, you know, the homies over there squabbling with them, and now these dudes picking up new members, and now different generations, you know, my generation is coming up, we snatching more members in like 90 and stuff like that, homie. So now we starting to say, let's go over there and possibly intensify from the squabbling to maybe some pistol play, homie, occasionally, homie. So now, to go into a major spat that I know kind of shook the city was when them dudes hit the homeboy Weiner FIP Inglewood family, homie. And at that time, I believe it was around the Christmas holidays, homie. And like I said, you had homies that kind of reside in little pockets of areas over there in the legend Crips, homie. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's where the Crips at, we still looked at Inglewood City kind of like it's all ours, homie. Even though we had pockets of Crips that reside in the city, homie. So now, at this time, tapes is out, homie. Cassette audio tapes is out that we listen to our music on at that time, homie. And we could be up in houses with homegirls functioning, doing our thing, and the homie would be like, hey, Blood, go get some more music. Or a nigga be like, Blood, I got that shit in the car. Blood, I'll go get that shit. And like I said, by us not really taking these dudes so much serious, because they knew how to be strategic and strategize their movements by being an outnumbered gang inside the city of Inglewood. They knew how to be in the cut inside their hood, and they knew how to separate from their hood in times of major funk, homie. And that's the art of war, homie. So like I said, we over there, certain homies is functioning over there. So the homie Weiner FIP, he decided to say, Blood, I'm going to go out to the car, Blood, and go get the tape out the car, homie. So in the midst of him going out there, like I said, these dudes knew how to be strategic inside their turf and monitor their turf without being seen sometime, homie. That the homie went out there banged out, unaware that he was being watched and lurked, homie. So now as he go to the car, get up in the car and rumbling through tapes, homie, a witness say they hear footsteps come up and somebody say, what's happening, cuz? And popping or something. Baka, 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 baka. You know what I'm saying? And to street witnesses as homies just asking people on the street like what they hear, what happened. They say in the midst of the busing, they hear the homie scream, fuck you niggas. You know what I'm saying? And that was something that shook the town and shook the city, for the simple fact it wasn't no social media. Hoods wasn't super deep like they are now, homie. So everybody had counted their members, homie, and we all functioned and socialized with one another and knew each other as being solid, real homeboys from coming up, homie. So when Weiner got hit, that was something that the city was already tight, but it drew us more tighter together. That we had a issue inside our city that had to be dealt with for the loss of the homeboy, homie. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be part one of the Inglewood car moving in on the Legend Crips, and how the Legend Crips was able to still survive throughout history and kind of hold their spot over there, homie. 89 on up, G stuff, not Ye stuff, and I'm just sending it, homie.